dice are with you, sometimes they're not. In Monopoly, nothing fucking matters. It's the ultimate nihilistic dreamland.
You can say the same thing about D&D. If you always roll ones,
but you don't always roll ones, and you can tailor your own actions. You can say, I, as a character, have found that this one action is no longer viable in this situation. So instead of continuing to do this thing, I will do this other thing where maybe those low roll dice will work in my favor. In Monopoly, you have no choice. You roll those stupid dice and they come up with their stupid pips. And what are you going to do then? You're going to do whatever the fucking dice want you to do. Ugh, hate that
Mick,
game so much.
I'm afraid that you're wrong in this particular regard. Monopoly is a game about negotiation. Yes, there is a lot of random dice work, but tricking people into selling you their precious, precious properties or making sick trades. I mean, look, choosing not to buy or not is... If you land on a Monopoly property and you don't buy it, you've made the wrong choice. Statistically, buying is always better than not buying. There is little to no option where not buying is a better plan. All right. This is some deep, deep Monopoly math. In the end, Monopoly is not just a game of luck. It's also a game of skillful negotiation and deception. And occasionally, it is about stealing from the bank when no one is looking. But I would never do that. Friends, OBS crashed. The problem was the new artwork I added by Connor, his 3 pieces of art last week, were too dense for the overlay. If it crashes again, we're going to be stitching together this episode at an extreme rate, but it looks like they're showing up now, so we should be okay. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, where was I? Board game cult. Cotton wanted to join a cult. I said, all right, whatever. Let's do this thing. Join us. We'll be recording Mondays at 8, and then it'll be uploading to YouTube whenever the heck I feel like it. There's an open call for cast members. You know, join for 1 week, play 1 game. You can find out more on my Discord in the announcements section. You know, speaking of people who want to join a cult, Cotton, how are you and your cult-like tendencies?
I'm good. I haven't gotten all matching robes yet. So I'm waiting on that.
Look, I told you I'm going to be wearing my white robe with the white hood, but I was considering maybe going with white robe, but then using the black cape over top of it so I could have a black hood. I'm also getting a candle, and considering forking out several $100s for a quick soundtrack riff that's like to play during the intro as I lift the candle up to my face and go, "Welcome to Monday Night Board Game Cult."
That sounds fun.
Well, you have weird tastes.
I have a Red Riding Hood cape so that I could pretend it is a Colt's cape, but it's red.
What I like even better about that is giving it a Pondo.
I might be able to convince him to wear it, but I doubt he will.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like something Pondo would do.
He's shaking his head no.
Yeah.
But maybe he will.
I agree that
if I bake enough like cookies, he might do it.
With enough alcohol, he'll do anything.
He doesn't drink.
Oh.
Cookies. I like how you both know him that well.
So easily bribed.
He's also not easily bribed.
We have discovered the majesty of Betty Crocker brownies, and they're very good, and they're only $1 for $1.
What? How have you not known about Betty Crocker brownies? I think brownies are one of those magical foods where homemade isn't any better than store-bought.
You mean isn't any worse?
Isn't any better. Like, homemade brownies are just a hassle, and they don't taste any better than the store-bought brownies.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I don't think you've had good homemade brownies.
Yeah.
I mean, I also don't like making any food at home because the more work I put into preparing it, the less I enjoy it.
But that's when you eat somebody else's homemade brownies.
Yeah, I say stop making your own brownies.
Well, if I want brownies, I can just get them from the store where they're delicious and already made.
Oh, Cotton, how about that intro?
I'm Cotton. I doodle and stuff. You can find me on my Twitter at Cotton_tailed. And I have a Discord if you want to join it. It's about superheroes. That's all.
Very well. You know how it goes on this show. You have to pick the next person in line.
I forgot about that. Let's go to Mick.
Hi, I'm Mick. I don't believe in homemade food or that Monopoly is a real game. Life is miserable in my house because I'm always so negative. I feel like such a positive guy, but I always say negative things, and I don't know why. But I draw and stuff, sometimes on Twitch, sometimes here on Tuesday nights. Well, that's really it for me. Rob, what are you up to tonight?
I was just thinking how you're such a negative person, but you say every negative comment in such a positive way.
Is that what makes it better?
Yeah, oxymoron there. So I'm robSHEPart. Hey, everyone. So I draw D&D characters and creatures and commissions and that kind of stuff. And I think going forward, I'm going to try my hand at going back to doing some world building and creating some D&D modules and all that stuff. But just thinking about it this week, kind of playing out, looking at the tools that I'm going to be using. And that's it. That's all I've got.
Why don't you tell the people at home about this sweet new pin you got?
Sweet new pin?
Yeah. You were just telling us about.
You talk about the tool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the XP pen. Yeah, I guess it is that. So, a new tool I've been drawing with my XP pen. So I've got the 15.6 monitor one, and it's pretty sweet. So if anyone's out there even considering the XP pen, I would highly recommend it. It works very well. I was using an Intuos 3, so it's pretty easy to go to this one and be a lot happier. So that's what I got. Connor, how about you?
Hey everybody, my name is conorhughes. I draw comics and etc. You can check out White Ash in stores right now. That'd be really great. We have issue 1 out as of last week. So yeah. Other than that, I haven't been up too much this week. Just getting ready with some new projects. Anything interesting happened this week? I would say I did watch watch MMA every once in a while, and this Saturday was a pretty good match, I thought. With UFC 246. Anyone watch that? Anyone else? I mean,
no
MMA fans. Okay. Yeah, well, that's it. That's it for me for this week and exciting stuff. Pretty quiet. How about you, AP?
I either joined or started a cult. It's not clear to me which one, but it's real now.
As long as you can earn your way to the top, like Scientology, it's
well,
all good.
I think I'm at the top of the cult, so I don't need to earn my way up there. But I have been researching cult methods, like removing individuality, removing connection to friends and family, reducing free time, giving broad, simplistic goals. I don't know that I can actually do all that for a 3 to 4 hour tabletop show, but I'll try my best to brainwash people while I'm there into believing that board games are good.
Board games are good. I prefer board
Wow,
games.
that was
They're a better
incredibly successful. Look at that record timing. Cotton, we got our first victim.
And it was a positive thing I just said.
Yeah. But let's talk about the enemy of the cult, people who don't like board games. We have to remove the obstacles in our path and defend our freedom to play board games. What is going on with Mick's camera? Is anyone else seeing that occasionally?
It like goes out of focus. I
Yeah.
can't disable it. Like I can disable it from inside.
Listen, have you seen the latest Critical Role?
Mine OBS. We've seen the first half. We watch it in 2 parts.
Yeah, okay. So you've seen the Hacker Man intro. It looks
Yes.
like you're getting spliced right now. It's Omega Codex. Wow.
Let's cut the mainframe.
Listen, man, my favorite part of that was where Laura walks on stage wearing dark sunglasses. Then she removes them, and there's another set of sunglasses beneath them. That's fucking
it was
next level
amazing.
shit. That had to be really uncomfortable to wear, too. And she had to walk facing the camera the whole time to not give away the finale to that.
It's actually not that difficult. I've worn sunglasses over my glasses. I mean, as long as you get past the fact that everyone around you thinks you're weird, it's not too bad.
Well, Connor, don't worry. I've always thought you were pretty weird.
Yeah, well, I'm saying when you're out in public, people don't necessarily know just by looking at you. They might know after a few seconds of conversation, but the sunglasses gives them that extra, notice, right?
Okay. Sure. I agree that you believe that that's a thing.
Right, exactly. Just validate me, all right? Just validate me.
Sure.
Have you ever played the Dune board game, AP?
No, I have not. I've never even heard of this.
They just had a re-release, like it was originally an Avalon Hill game from the late 70s, but they just released a new version. Like it's the same game, it's just updated graphics kind of stuff. But if your favorite part of Monopoly is the intense interplay between the players at the table, then the Dune board game is absolutely amazing.
Well, I'll tell you, there is a multi-part game that will probably take 2 or more episodes that is vaunted as being one of the highest negotiation strategy games. But
is it Cosmic Encounter?
No. But Cotton never got back to me on whether she wanted to play it or not.
I think I work late.
Okay.
I haven't even got to see the little videos that you sent with it.
Okay. All
What
right.
is it?
Twilight Imperium, 4th edition.
I assume I'll be okay with it.
Don't just say that.
Edition yet.
Cotton, don't
Just go
be
with yes.
fooled by me. You can't just say yes to anything that I tell you to do. Ooh.
But I'm in a cult. That's my job now. Yes.
Can't make it too easy.
Sacrifice to that thing. You'll be fine.
He's got to make you. You got to make him work on his skills. So you can't be too easy.
No, that's what Pondo's for.
Ah, okay.
You're saying Pondo is too easy? I mean,
no, he's too hard.
I don't know.
You got to go like good cult member, bad cult member.
That's
thing
not a thing.
Yeah. It's a thing now.
No, please no. Is there anything? Cotton, did you watch the last episode?
No.
Is there
I've been
anything
very busy.
anyone wants to tell Cotton about the last Well, let me mark down that this is the part where we skip intros.
Fulbork is finally coming to the realization that maybe he is indeed a hero on equal standing with these other characters. And he has moments.
And that's why you decided
great.
not to bring him this week?
Where he flashes back to thinking he is, a subservient worm only to enable these other heroes. But then the party reminds him and he says, no, I too can be a hero. And that mental struggle was so intense that he is exhausted and cannot participate in today's adventures, which I'm just going to assume is going to involve a lot of talking and not a lot of stabbing.
Sure, it's entirely up to us. If we started trying to kill the entire town, then there'd be a lot of stabbing.
That'd be a quick game too.
It's a big town.
7th level heroes are capable of some very incredible work.
Yeah, I mean, I did ask how many guards there were, and there were only a few. We might be able to kill everybody.
Someone's bloodthirsty.
Yeah, Connor's very straightforward in his new genocidal ways.
I have lightning.
All right. I'm with
First
you
say
guys.
it's underground. So did we say? Did Nick say we're in a drow town? We moved to the drow town. The people that the guy from the prison.
We're in downtown Drow Town.
That prison guy. He sends us there, and we're trying to go get Win back.
Yeah,
so
that guy, Lomenthal Cyranoir.
Right, that guy.
Yeah, no
That's
need to
the
use
one.
people's names or anything. Fine.
And I did use Win's name.
You just said we're going to get Win back.
I know. I'm saying I did use Win's name. I used one character's name.
Yeah, of course. That's the only one you care about.
Hey. I mean, she at this point, you said yourself, she's more your character than she is mine.
I've never said that.
It sounds like something you would have said.
It does sound like something I'd say, but that's not actually true. I'm just mocking Connor until he gets his character back. This has been, it's literally like 6 episodes of her being gone.
10 days, so
It has
10
completely
episodes.
dominated the storyline now. Wynn was mind controlled on day 7. It's now day 21, so she's been gone for 2 weeks.
Right. Before you said 11 days or something.
Yeah, that was the time difference between. And first off, it's been 4 days since you come here, and then there was a time delay between when she was mind controlled and when she was sold.
Right.
I have good news though, Lyra. Your javelin in town will be done soon, if you return.
I forgot about that.
Don't worry, I didn't. Our episode opens with all of our heroes, not just the 4 gathered here, but Aldana and even Sid's character and Buttercup, all coming out of the private rooms here at the court. And breakfast is served by a young drow woman, slender. Her hair has been powdered kind of light blue, like Twitter blue. But she's wearing the same armband that you saw Key wearing last night.
I take a look at what the fiddles are. So what do they got for grub in this place?
It looks like shrimp, crayfish, lots of ginger and garlic being fried into these, and the garlic's being thrown on at the last second. Don't want to burn it. Carrots, so many carrots. It's basically like 70% carrots in the mix here.
Oh, love me some carrots.
I think back to the time when I saw a stream of any kind in around. Have I seen one or what?
So you know that the main thoroughfare of the Black Web Hold was a sort of underground canyon cut out by water. And there's no water there currently, but you would think that there are probably cave pools somewhere nearby. You know that if everything wasn't carved out of solid stone, this would be a kind of small town antebellum South atmosphere, where one might find small cave pools and small ranches of slaves and, animals like moles and rats somewhere. So there could be cave shrimp, cave crayfish, cave crawdads.
Nice.
He is turning towards MeaThead and says, "Well, hello.
Hey, what's up?
I don't recognize you."
Oh yeah, I'm new here. I just came down for the day.
Yes, I know that you're new here. All of you are new here. I just you aren't one of the other people I met last night.
Yeah. I didn't realize there were any other people down here. I thought this was a solo thing. But hey, man, I mean, like, I'm always up for a good party, right?
You have come to the right place if you seek cultured entertainment.
I don't know about that so much, but I'm here to bust some heads, kick some ass, that kind of thing.
Well, friend, you might want to join us. We're going to see the mayor of this town. What brings you here? Besides kicking ass, anyway, though. Yeah, I suppose you did, but I mean, how'd you get here? You came here from Corsairport?
So all of the secondary or unused characters that were in Corsairport have come together to aid Ashe in his journey.
I see.
So now everyone is rebasing out of here.
Yeah, I came from Corsairport. It's a lovely place. I love it there. Think I'll go back for a visit when we're done down here.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be back soon. Hopefully the repairs on the walls are going better.
Are you the one we're down here for? We're getting your girl? That's what I hear? Some old man kept talking about it. You either got this girl or you got a succubus girl. I don't know. He talks a lot. I'm not sure what his whole thing is.
Is that footwork you're talking about? He does like to talk.
Yeah, it's old, kind of hairy. Doesn't seem like he helps much in a fight, but you know.
What does Fulborg say when he's standing nearby listening to this?
He's still up in the bedroom. He's sleeping in today. Or is he down here as well? Everyone came down here.
I feel like a groggy Fulborg is maybe picking up a croissant and some orange juice while taking his morning medication. It's clear he intends to go back to sleep after, getting his blood sugar up.
Says, yes, I am pretty tired. I don't do much yet, but I'm new to this hero thing.
Now do that thing where MeaThead and Fulborg talk to each other at the same time.
See, I told you, it didn't seem like as much help.
Sorry, as a GM, this often happens to me, so I like doing it to players. Lyra. I understand that Lyra knows that if she thinks about stuff around Key will pick up on it, correct?
She knows that?
I think she does know that by now. I think it's been discussed. And there is something you specifically don't want Key to find out about, correct?
That is correct.
Could I have you make a wisdom saving throw real quick?
Yes.
Ooh, secrets.
The number you're looking for is 16.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I got an
Keep
18.
your secrets for now. For now. Let's just be clear. The longer you spend time around her, the greater the chance that she'll randomly pick up on it.
That's fair.
I should say instead of she, they will pick up on it. But yes. You don't believe that you're doing that thing where you're like, I'm not going to think about it. Not going to think about it. Elephants, watermelon, cigarettes.
Yeah, but what about if you're as you're thinking that in like the secondary part of your mind, you're also thinking the thing that you're not supposed to be thinking.
I don't know what you're talking about, Connor.
All right.
I think that's what the wisdom save was for.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, Ashe is ready to go. He's sort of anxious to get moving and talking to the mayor or whoever it is that we're going to be talking to.
So when you mention that, Key says, "We'll be speaking with Magistrate Blackweb, Cottontailed Blackweb."
Yeah, we're gonna get this on the road. I got an audience gonna be waiting in a couple hours. I don't want to leave them hanging.
Well, I'm ready to go when you are, but you should note a few things. Magistrate Cottontailed Blackweb is unlikely to be any friend of yours. He does not treat outsiders with kind of warmth that one expects of visitors. He is an unusual man in our society, a collector of rare and interesting things, and he has no care for rules. The stratification of this society, the way that the slave code is upheld, is entirely on the 5 other houses. An interesting conversation is more important to him than a business deal or upholding order and justice.
Well, I'm not here to talk. I'm not here to lay down the law. I'm here to, kick some ass, which I guess is kind of like a euphemism, or lay down the law is you. I mean, it works both ways, but I'm not here for justice, I guess, or to talk.
She nods and says, "Are you a mercenary, perhaps? There are several jobs about town that could require someone with expert services like yourself."
I mean, I don't like the label mercenary. I feel like it puts me in a box that I'm not comfortable with. But,
what label do you prefer?
It's not inaccurate, I suppose. I prefer Scrying Adventurer.
So, adventurer, then.
Scrying Adventurer. Not many people do what I do.
What is it that you do?
Well, I go on adventures, but I do it in such a manner that other people can watch me go on adventures.
I don't understand.
You don't seem like you're big on entertainment down here. I'm not surprised. But anyway, let's go talk to this guy.
She says, often I find that I am the entertainment here.
And who is this I'm talking to?
Key.
Is she still a Drider? What is she right now?
No, she's a young drow woman with powder blue hair.
I mean, yes, I'm willing to believe that as well, but that's not the kind of entertainment my audience pays for. Although, I could set up a special thing. I don't know. We'll have to talk details after today.
Is someone watching you now?
I'm just going to look up into a vague, portion slightly above everyone's head towards the ceiling and be like, hey, meatheads, it's your boy MeaThead. We're getting ready to go on an adventure here down in downtown Drowtown. You hang tight. Action's going to start any minute. In the meantime, listen to Muttering Max Minstrels. They'll be providing stage entertainment in between the hot spots, so enjoy your stay. I believe so, yes.
Now,
I see what's going on here.
just for the audience at home, Mick, can you explain what MeaThead's deal is?
So he is basically a streaming dungeon delver.
Yeah.
In which there's a theater back home with special mirrors set up to scry on his activities on and off through the day. Come in, you pay your coin, you can watch live entertainment while you wait for MeaThead to make it to the next fight, the next thing in whatever adventure he's on. And then at the end of the day, you go home happy, having, spent an enjoyable, entertaining day at the theater.
So can I get a description of what MeaThead looks like?
He is, he's an orc. I forgot what I did. Okay, yeah, he is an orc, because I think I had him as a hobgoblin first. He's probably 7.5 feet tall, smooth skin. He looks pretty young for an orc. He's just getting out there into the world. He's been doing this thing for a while, but not a crazy long time. He's got on, what am I wearing? Oh, he's wearing a very shiny, heavily polished chainmail today. There's a little metal plate on his shoulder that has a small emblem kind of etched into it, and it's a scimitar kind of looking swoosh.
Gizmo, how is the morning treating you?
Yeah, Gizmo's very frustrated because he's been working on some devices that just aren't coming together. So he's off in his corner, kind of working and fiddling on things, doing his Artificer thing, and but you can tell he's quite frustrated.
Okay.
Ashe sort of says, "Hey, Gizmo, what's going on? You seem what? You having some trouble over there?"
Yes. The trouble of an inventor is that sometimes it takes quite a while to get your inventions to work, and the stuff that I'm working on now just doesn't want to cooperate with me.
What are you trying to make now? What's your project?
I'm trying to create this scrying mirror where you can draw on the scrying mirror and it projects the image to another location.
That sounds great. Hey, I got some boys back at the theater. I mean, that's kind of their thing. After today, I'll shoot them a message, see if they can help you out with that.
Don't you actually carry one, MeaThead?
I do have one. I can pull it out and here, check this out.
I would love to take a look at. Yeah, maybe this would work out for me. Yeah. So let me, if you don't mind, I'll analyze this for a bit, if that's okay with your permission.
Yeah. I just, ask that there is a measure of caution that goes into it. I only have one, or do I have two? Do I have multiple in case?
You have one.
I just have one. Okay. I ask that you take a measure of caution with it. It's not irreplaceable, but it is kind of expensive.
I will be quite careful with it. I understand the value of one's own. I rolled a 1. Shit. All right. So, yes, I'll be quite careful with it. I just want to, physical inspection. I should be able to, get an inkling of how it works, perhaps. But that's, I appreciate that.
Conorhughes out here flexing with his neck drawing skills.
Well, this is K, I guess. This is sort of like an early morning rising K.
Yeah.
Or K, or however you pronounce it.
K-E, just Key.
Key.
No, Kiki is a delivery service.
I don't watch a lot of anime, but I think I got that reference.
I know. Well, it was aimed at Cotton, who immediately got it. Key is kind of shuffling people who aren't in Ashe's retinue today back to the rooms. They were subdivided last night so that more than 5 people could stay here. Like setting up cots or beds, some sort of drapery to split the rooms in 2 or 3. And she just says, whenever you're ready, I can lead you through the town.
Well, yeah, let's get going.
All right. So, MeaThead, Lyra, you got a little taste of the town last night where you were part of the reserve force. But now you get led through this beautiful, carved into the side of a canyon, an underground canyon. There's an upper deck where it looks like lower class folks walk, and then the canyon has a separate, smaller canyon in the middle, kind of like a carved out canalway where upper crust. The clothing is silk, a lot of silk. There's more silk here in this town than you've seen anywhere before. There's an incredible amount of wealth on display, and people, even the lowest slave, wear it quite casually. There is a very serious level of difference in decoration. It's not that the wealthy have a lot of jewelry. In fact, most of them only have one piece, but that piece tends to have a lot of meaning to it. One bracelet or one anklet could have several gems studded into it of different but large values, and a lot of gilded work or silver work done on it as well. You are led down what appears to be a main pathway until you reach the end of it. A kind of cave arch allows you to pass into a series of temples. It looks like many are coming to do morning worship here. And there are temples to all of the gods you're familiar with. And then there are at least one god you're not familiar with. So, most of the older gods, the gods you kind of recognize more, are easily recognizable and somewhat related first. As you go on, these temples are set side by side in the walkway. And they're not large. None of them are particularly huge. When I say chapel, I don't mean more than 20 or 30 people could fit inside them. It's very Salem, Puritan, early American, but all carved out of stone. As you make it deeper and deeper in, the chapels become larger until you reach what is very clearly the 3 main chapels, the first of which appears to have a large fox, not carved out of stone, but a idol of a 5-tailed fox made entirely out of gold, which you have all become familiar with as the symbol of Jatau, the god of trickery. Second, there is a temple of Hal-El, the god of knowledge, which is a carved book above his temple. And then it appears to be set under the staircase of the magistrate's court is a very small temple on either side of the door of. So the staircase has doors set into either side of it. There are symbols of a spider web on it, and there no one has gone in or out of there since you have arrived. As you're led up the staircase, Key says, "Remember, he's probably not going to like you. You're also going to need to remove your shoes and turn over your weapons, and make a pledge to not do any harm. Can you all uphold such rules?"
Has he taken that pledge himself?
It is his court. I have not thought to ask.
Yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. And I'll start stripping.
So she says, wait until we get to the top of the steps.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it's just your shoes.
What? Oh, all right, fine. I mean, like, sure, whatever.
So before, I don't know if this is be weird, but I was thinking before we got in, I would cast a spell on myself.
Yeah.
Enhance ability, and it's going to be Eagle's Splendor.
Sure.
Okay. That's a second level spell, so that's one down. All right.
When you reach the top of the steps, you enter into this kind of columnated forum hall. It is lit by pale purple lanterns, which cast everything into a unique tint in this dark underspace that seems to go well with the white marble. And a dark, ashen-skinned attendant says, "I will require your shoes and your weapons, if you please." And begins handing each of you a kind of colored ticket that also has a unique number of bands on it.
All right, yeah, I'll hand over my shoes and weapons and take the ticket.
So I say to everyone, yeah, this is normal. This is standard procedure in a lot of courts that I've been around. So let's try and remain calm.
So Key turns and says, "Really? The shoe thing?"
I mean, not in my home kingdom, but in the east. Yes, it's true.
Isn't your home kingdom the most easternmost kingdom?
I thought
of
it was
the
more
Empire?
Western. I thought it was more Western, but that's just. I mean, I haven't actually seen the map of where.
I haven't made the map yet,
places?
but sure. She says, "No, I must have misunderstood. Obviously, your kingdom is in the west."
How do you not know where your own place is?
I'm not surprised.
Does anyone not take their shoes off or submit
Gizmo
their
takes
weapons?
his shoes off. Yep.
Are you leaving your tinkering familiar summon bots here?
Yeah, all the little tiny tinker ones. Yeah.
The attendant gives it an odd look and calls someone over and whispers something to them before taking the bot away. And that person goes and runs off deeper into this court.
Now, technically, I don't have the artillery thing.
Yeah.
So, because that's only lasts for an hour. So all they can take or steal are the little tiny tinkering
Yes.
devices. Okay.
Yep. Steal.
So what are they doing? Where are they taking my items?
It's essentially like a coat check room.
Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you then.
Key begins leading you deeper inside and stops outside of a bead curtain and says, "I will return in a few moments, but I must inform the magistrate of your coming and prepare a report for him." As she leaves, someone approaches from out behind a column of shadows and says, "I am the truth speaker. Before you enter, you must speak to me an oath." And he flips back his hood, and it's not a drow. It's a high elf with long, pointy ears, pale, fair skin, reddish cheeks, and he says, "Behold." He taps his staff, and all of you see a brief flash, and you feel kind of tingly for a moment. Like maybe you've been on an x-ray machine for a little bit too long. You are all being subjected to a Cone of Truth spell, so you can try to lie if you would like, but you'll need to make a save if you do so.
Yeah, and they will know if we try and make the save, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so what is he saying to do? He said to promise that we'll tell the truth, right? Or he's going to ask us questions.
I need you to give me your oath. Sorry, Zone of Truth is the name of the spell. Give me an oath. It may be individualized to whatever means you believe. And if it is sufficient for me, I will allow you to pass, surfacers. There are many who weave pretty words in an attempt to fool me with the sophistry of their pronouncements.
I swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me, Cosmon.
What is Cosmon?
He's just a local deity back where I come from. I don't know if he's real. I don't know if he's not real. But
I love how Mick always just makes up new religions out of nowhere.
But,
all right, what is the reference for
popular?
What is the reference for Cosmon?
What? No, I don't know.
Oh, you literally just made it up.
Just made that up.
I thought it was some streamer that you liked.
Nope.
He says, "I will need a oath that you will not harm the magistrate or any member of his court."
I swear to only hurt people who need hurting. If they try to hurt me first.
He looks at you with a very questionable look and says, "There are few who would attempt to get around the oath with such blatant disregard."
I mean, you got to look after number one.
Gizmo, Ashe, Lyra,
I say
already kind of on the rocks here.
We have been accepted as guests in your court. Of course, I accept to promise to tell the truth and also to not bring any harm to this court.
Gizmo say, "I come in peace, and I will not cause harm to anyone unless in self-defense."
I will start no violence within these walls.
Several moments later, he comes back through the bead curtain and says, "Come with me." Now, who doesn't have dark vision here?
No one now. No, Lyra.
I don't.
Yeah.
So for the rest of you, you get a kind of no color, dark vision look of what's happening, but I want to concentrate on Lyra. It's completely black when you enter. And then as you walk forward with everyone else, pale purple lights light up with very dim light along the sides of the halls, one by one, eventually turning into, we're talking like a key-shaped, long, thin hall that comes up to a circle. Keyhole shaped, I should say. There are no lights there until two lanterns that have high focus turn into basically spotlights on the throne, and then the whole room has lanterns that come up. There's a lot of theatrics going on here. For everyone else, this is less of a Roman noble court and more of there are tables everywhere where people are sitting and speaking and working on things.
Guy knows how to really set a scene.
When you enter,
respect his showmanship.
The man sitting on the throne, when the lights come on him, he stands, and as he does, everyone else in the court stands as well. For the rest of you, these showman tactics mean almost nothing because you could see everything in the room the whole time.
I'm still gonna give him the clap. Like, I saw what you were going for, though. Very nice.
He nods
very nice.
And says, when his mouth moves, it's clear that he's not speaking the same language that is coming out of his mouth. He's basically being live dubbed. And he says, "My name is Magistrate Kuptale Blackweb. Welcome to the Blackweb Hold. Prince Ashe, sixth son of the Kingdom of Heiral, He nods his head very briefly towards you.
Greetings, Kuptale. Thank you for welcoming us into your court.
When you call him Kuptale, everyone in the court is like, Le Shock. He sits down, and as he does, everybody else around you sits down. He says, pull up a chair, sit down wherever you feel like. Shall I join you at your table, or would you prefer I remain over here on my magistrate's seat?
It is as it suits you, sir.
As you wish. We would be honored if you came and joined us.
So as he stands up, everyone in the whole room stands up as well. And he saunters over. You get a pretty good look at him. Light blue skin, almost white at this point. Head shaved on the sides and the top, but it looks like he's got a ponytail on the back, which has a huge red ribbon made of silk that has been tied into a kind of butterfly pattern. Slender, arms exposed, a vest with a harness over it that he could hang stuff from. Looks like it's got a kind of military cant to it. Loose silk pants. Not quite at the hammer pants level. More like a gym karate outfit. All tied with a tight belt. He's not overly muscular in a kind of beefy way, but he's very toned. His face is softer than what you would expect. And he comes and sits down, and as he sits down, everybody else sits down. You notice the whole court is filled with people not wearing shoes. Super obvious. It's very weird. Except, of course, for Ashe, who does this thing all the time, apparently.
He's back in the East-West. Is it like what's the temperature in here?
Temperature.
Yeah,
About
like, are my
54
toes
degrees
getting cold?
Fahrenheit.
All
I mean,
right,
if you're
all
an underground orc, this is very normal for you.
right.
I like your hair ribbon.
Thank you. My attendant tied it for me this morning. I have been favoring this style lately.
I can see why it looks very fancy.
I like what you did with the voice thing. It's clever. I'm gonna have to use that when I get back home. That's props, man. Props.
My local arcanist has prepared me to speak with you sky commoners.
Yeah, I've been thinking about broadening my outreach, but like I didn't think that through. Like there's a whole audience down here that I could reach out to, and I've just been throwing that under the bus up till now. Under the wagon. I don't know what a bus is, but I know what a wagon is.
Indeed, your domain is impressive.
Is it?
And as is your court.
You speak such flattery to me that I know for certain is completely untrue. This humble city, at best, with its environs nearby, could account for 10,000, which is smaller than even one neighborhood district of your home Heiral capital.
I think it's impressive.
Be that as it may, everyone here is rich with some fineries. Like for instance, we've seen.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen more silk here than I've seen in sometimes even the capital main thoroughfares.
I prefer to gather the finest things to my realm. We are small, but we do not struggle. Some consider us to be a backwater, but we have a very strong culture of our own. We survived the exile of Loth. We have survived the Underlords. And it should be noted that if you are looking for a greater audience and struggled to reach out to those who speak what you would term as undercommon, you could find hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions, in the lands directly below us.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have to look into that.
In a way that I do not understand how it works. There is an ocean between us and your continent, and yet your continent is connected to the Gnomish capital, their undercity. And yet, if we were to venture into the depths of the Underdark beneath our feet, It is rumored that there are trade paths that lead to such a city. In the Underdark, you can go many places, to many planes of shadow and death, but also places of light. Some have said you can even find routes to other worlds. I myself, and he holds up what is very clearly what we would recognize is one of the fancy clay pots from Rick Jax's hometown area. Have such an artifact from the far away.
So would I recognize it as being from?
Yes, it definitely something like this has probably passed up into the Empire at some point.
Well, it was called Blevikin. No, what was it called?
The name of the Gnomesh city?
Yeah, it's from
Lightenstone?
Yeah, Blingenstone.
Lightenstone.
Yep.
And so I instantly say, of course, I recognize that it's from Blightenstone.
Lingenstone.
Blingenstone. Yeah, I said Lightenstone. That was wrong, but it's Blingenstone.
Blingenstone.
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to ask
In
Rick
local
Jax.
dialects, you never know what you're going to get.
It's very impressive for it to have made it such a journey. It took us many weeks by boat to come here.
I've heard that perhaps 1 in 35 caravans that set out for such a location make it and return. But those that have returned to our realm have made great wealth. I am willing to pay dearly for entertainment from afar or at home.
What kind of entertainment? What is it that you're really looking for?
Don't you find life so boring? Nothing ever happens unless you make it happen.
I think we go out in life to find something. So if we personally, if I sit in my office and I'm tinkering too often, yes, I get bored. That's why I go out into the world.
Exactly. It has been hundreds of years since the exile, but still, I want to see more of the world. And yes, I have tied myself to this place, but rather than go out and see the wonders of the world, I have them brought to me.
Have you ever tried books?
I have many books. We elevate the god Hal-El above all others, for he is the father of all elves, as we are.
I think there could be a win-win situation here because my party and I love to explore the worlds. And if we find something that might be of interest to you, be happy to bring it back and make arrangements, see if you like it or not.
Yes, I was thinking that it would be better for you to remain here with me.
With you, how? You mean in your city?
Well, are you talking like an extended contract? I mean,
Yes, something like that. As members of my court, you have many stories, and you carry among you artifacts of power. And I have knowledge that you require. And I sense that I have other things that you wish.
Indeed, this is true. You have come into possession with one of my dear friends, one Win. She's a human.
Yes, I have spoken with her often.
I believe she's arrived here some 10 days ago. And I was hoping that we might request her to be released from your service.
Of course.
Is there anything that you would ask of us in return?
Well, I'm so glad that you ask. He turns to look at Lyra as he's talking while smiling and says, I have a problem that requires an immediate solution. And I was hoping that you and your court or retinue would help me deal with it.
And what might that problem be?
Well, there is a location nearby where raiders have been launching attacks on my caravans. He was a slave that I had captured once. He is upset after having escaped and has come to plague me with his dark powers, unholy powers.
What kind of unholy powers?
Heresy and death. I speak of Bako, and everyone in the room is like, oh, Bako, and then there's, like, hushed elven talking. And he says, Bako is a mine created by an insane lich. Defeated in the Underdark, he chose to make his way to the highest levels of the Underdark, wherein he began to gather resources, slaves, but not as we keep them, slaves in the horrifying method of the Lich, horrible beaten creatures, and mined out the rocks of the earth so that he could make weapons, and use them as materials to summon dark powers. Like all such creatures, he was defeated in time. The mine has changed hands almost a dozen times since then, and is now the hold of this renegade slave caster. He goes by the name Bartholomew Blackhand.
That guy's still alive?
Yes.
You
I
guys
thought
know
you
him?
might be interested in that information. I had gleaned as such from Wynn. Bartholomew Blackhand is very much alive. When he fled from your Corsairport, we had assumed that the surface world was lost, that none would continue to live there. I kept him as a favored compatriot for some time, but it turns out that he favored freedom over loyalty.
I need a refresher. Who was Bartholomew?
When you say that, he turns toward Lyra.
If I remember right, he was the person who messed up Corsairport. Fled here. I've been looking for him for personal reasons.
Oh, so he was he was the guy sort of like the mythology of Corsairport.
He was the pirate that they talked about at the beginning when we first
Okay.
came here.
Okay.
They thought he went crazy, if I remember right, and ran away from the black hair.
Oh,
If he's a lich,
back here.
The
And
black hair
he's
is very real and very much alive. It is a servant of the Archdruid.
I was hoping it was just that treant.
The tree ant lives eternal. When it dies, it releases spores into the ground and bursts itself anew after a fortnight.
I knew the spore thing was bad.
That means he's back alive.
If it has encountered you before, it will have... Scent is not the right word, but it will have a memory of you killing it. And it will not relent, for if you have harmed the forest, you are its target of doom. Even in Corsairport, you will not be safe.
Well, then it's a good thing we've come to this location.
He spreads his arms wide and bows his head very slightly while closing his eyes. I would be eminently willing to house Prince Ashe Heiral and his compatriots for a time, in exchange for conversation and certain small favors. It would seem that we have a mutual necessity to remove this Bartholomew Blackhand.
his existence is a blight on both Corsairport and here. Of course, we'll help you.
By the time you return, I will have my jailers done processing your win.
I would like to see her now, just to know her condition.
She is... It would be difficult to do so.
What makes it difficult?
We are processing her.
What does that mean?
Gleaning information from her.
Think it's an interrogation, guys.
I would
Thumb
not use
screws,
such a crude word.
Crushing, maybe dunking,
Does it
waterboarding.
include branding her face?
None of those things that he is saying are what we do. Our interrogations are not so crass as to cause physical harm.
What about
She's a dear-
mental?
We may be using magical methods in order to glean the truth.
She's
I
a dear
assure
friend
you
of
there will
mine.
be no lasting damage.
She's a dear friend of mine. I wouldn't like to see her come to any harm. I don't think it should be any problem for us to see her. No
I
matter
would
what
ask that you accept
interrogations.
my word that she is quite fine.
Can we tell if he's telling the truth?
Well, you can make an insight check.
I'll
This is Dungeons and
Let me-
Dragons. I know that you
like.
like playing Dungeons and Dragons, so let's make a dice roll here.
I have to
Alright.
get to that window.
Rob is so good at
Is-
playing Dungeons and Dragons, he even made a 7th level version of Rick Jacks, just in case.
I did,
I
right?
know.
Future self.
Yeah.
All right, wait, what do I do? Roll just a 20, right?
Yep.
Crap, I'm so out of practice.
Connor, let me tell you something. As you know,
Oh, did he roll?
your boy,
You can roll too,
Ashe,
though.
has no patience for courtly gossip, rumors. Insight is not his primary skill. His primary skill is interacting with people by stabbing them to death, so...
It's true.
Which is why we spend so much time talking.
It's unusual, isn't it? Gizmo. He is being evasive with you. You get the feeling that he would like to extend the amount of time that it takes for you to see Win to perhaps cover up any negative treatment that might have happened. You sense that there may be no physical harm involved, but that these people are ruthless and, from your point of view, perhaps even cruel. They don't have the same moral values that you do.
Okay. How many people are in this room?
Probably about 30. They range from slave types, shuffling papers, putting sand on papers, providing anything that's needed, up to what are clearly heads of prominent families. You know, as you look around, you notice that there are 6 banners, but it's clear from the spacing and the dusting that there used to only be 5 banners, and that somewhat recently they were moved to accommodate a 6th.
I'm totally at a loss for that, though. But okay, I look over to Ashe. I go, it probably would be best if we could see your friend before we enter in any contracts. And then I'll look to the magistrate. I go, it's just really, we want to be, positive that we're on, a good level starting before we start a relationship, and you help us out and we help you out.
I agree. Magistrate Kuktali. I mean, this is a friend from many years back. I'm sure you understand. You have such friends in your court that you've been around for years. Imagine if they had suddenly been separated for you for a long period of time and you didn't know what happened to them. I'm just concerned about my friend, and I just want to see her very briefly.
One of the two of you is making a persuasion check at advantage.
That'll be me, because I already have
Ashe.
advantage.
Very well.
Go for it, Ashe. Come on, Ashe.
What I meant is that the two of you were clearly helping each other, but sure.
Yeah.
You already
guess I-
have advantage given your eagle's splendor.
Actually, no, you're right. I have That's an advantage on charisma checks. This is a persuasion.
Persuasion is a charisma check.
Okay.
Yes.
You got double, quadruple advantage.
Wow, man, needed that persuasion bonus.
Yeah, for sure.
You could see that he remains mostly unconvinced, but says, "Allow me." What is this Strider that I'm looking at now? Is this your new girlfriend?
This is Key, right?
Wow, that's amazing. Did you just do that, Nick?
Yeah, I've been working on it.
That is awesome.
I like it.
What's with the upside down skull?
I love the skull.
Yeah.
I mean, so she's got to have a thing.
Okay. The tiny little loincloth. No apparent
Oh my
reason.
god.
Oh, Nick.
Covers all the important bits.
Striders are asexual and genderless so that they can't breed.
Well, surely they lay eggs.
Maybe it's
No,
just
their
decoration.
Lolth specifically makes them so that they can't breed.
Yeah.
Mick, that's
Somebody take the
amazing.
loincloth.
Holy moly.
I can take the loincloth.
No, please
off.
don't. Please leave
No,
it
leave the
as you
loincloth.
believe that it looks.
I
This
just
is.
figred Key would have.
Let me tell you
both
something.
sets
This is
because-
definitely Key's Drider DLC outfit for the Fulborg romance route.
It's a special unlock.
Yeah, exactly. He turns, and by he I mean Kuptale, turns and speaks to Key very briefly, quietly, and then turns and says, "Very well, we shall have her prepared to speak with you in about 10 minutes. It will need to be brief.
Thank you very much, Magistrate.
I am willing to offer you this favor because of your unusual willingness to work with me. There are a few surface worlders who have your level of politeness. But do not think that you can push me like this often. I like you, Prince Ashe Heiral.
And now you, Miss Magistrate. So I thank you for your gracious welcome at your court and understanding our my concern for my friend.
As he stands up, everyone in the room stands up and says, "I will return when it is time to bring you." So as he leaves, Key gives you guys like a quick thumbs up behind his back, like, good job, as she follows him out. Everybody else sits down and goes back to what would appear to be basic government work, giving you a wide berth. You've got a little bit of a private moment to speak with each other.
I'm going to turn back to that nowhere point in the sky. Be like, hey, meatheads! Looks like things are going to be heating up soon. We got to talk to this lady. Hopefully that all checks out. We should be getting to the adventure pretty soon. I just want to show a quick shout out to my girl Edgelord Indra Drago for providing my weapons today. I don't have them with me, but you're going to see them in action soon enough. They come from her Peaceful Vengeance line, sharpened to 32 degrees angle, razor sharp. You could shave with these babies, and full-length fullers. Now, I know some people take issue with fullers, saying they're merely aesthetic. Some people think they serve a function. I would say, since I've started running all of my weapons with fullers, I've not once had a problem pulling them out of the corpse of an enemy after a fight. So, you guys, sit back, relax, enjoy the show from Muttering Mucks Minstrels, and I'll tell you when the action's getting started.
So Ashe,
I think this is going great, guys. I'm having a blast. Listen, I don't usually do this much yapping before a fight, but this has been a pleasant change of pace. We are going to need to speed it up, though, because they are burning through those intermission shows, all right?
I think Lyra is staring at Ashe with this guy is crazy look.
But meanwhile, Ashe engages in a full 15-minute conversation on fullers. MeaThead or whatever his name.
Gizmo, Lyra, you're left out of this conversation.
Lyra then turns to Gizmo and whispers as quiet as she can. So, do you think they're both crazy?
Yeah, I think definitely the MeaThead, right? MeaThead. Yeah, it's definitely off his rocker for sure. Hey,
I have concerns.
do you think he's any worse than anyone else we've traveled with?
The other people weren't openly crazy.
I guess I'm just used to chaotic types, chaotic loonies.
So
I have concerns about you now too.
Oh, please, please. I'm just more open-minded, that's all. He may prove useful.
I didn't say he wasn't useful. I said he was crazy.
Yes. So, Gizmo, since we're whispering, and we don't think anyone can hear us, I assume, right?
There is if you're whispering, there's whispers going from everybody in here.
Can we hear any other person's whispers?
Yes, but they're all speaking in either Elven or Undercommon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so sound could travel in here.
It almost seems as if the room was designed for it. Good acoustics.
If Ashe had to guess, do they speak Orcish?
You don't hear anyone speaking Orcish.
Okay.
Do you want to shout some Orcish real quick and see if anyone responds? You do have an orc sitting literally feet away from you talking about fullers.
Right. Yeah, I know. So
every few minutes he goes, "Peaceful vengeance."
I ask. I order it like a. There are people walking around with drinks. I assume they're like serving food or whatever.
No, so it's not that there's general servants. It looks like all of the slaves are tied specifically to whoever they came with.
Okay. I hold off for now.
He's still here?
No, Key left with Kuptale.
Oh, okay.
I gotta tell you, I really like this expression on Drow Key. I don't know. There's just something about it.
Right now, I'm working on Kuptale down here.
I know.
I guess you get.
I'm following your pointer. We're down at his feet. Now we're at his butt. Now we're in the midsection. I'm wherever you're looking at, Connor.
Oh, it is a little bit weird though. It's a little bit okay. Yes, yeah. I'm trying to get it accurate so you guys can see it on the
wherever
screen.
you're at. I'm at. I'm using the power of science.
I like that power.
You don't see the magistrate come back, but you hear his voice say, "Come."
So Ashe follows.
All right, so you head back out the bead curtain. He leads you down another hall of governance. As you all enter, there is a light mist along the ground, and everything goes dark, even to those with dark vision. And after a few moments of walking like that, you come back to your senses. You're not sure what direction you're headed in anymore. This place seems to be confusing. At some point, you think the chamber becomes circular, and you think that maybe you're walking up the side of the wall and are upside down from where you were at earlier. All of you are affected, but it doesn't look like either Key or Kuptale are affected by this. He says, "The disorientation is normal."
I try and reorientate myself in the space, like try and get a grasp.
Do not fight it.
Where we were.
Just relax into it, man. Listen, I've been in some dungeons in my day, all right?
This place is warded against prisoners escaping.
Deep. You'll be fine.
I don't think that's what you're supposed to do.
Just stay normal. Don't do anything unusual. Raising your heart rate, thinking alarming thoughts, moving quickly will set off defenses that you would rather not face.
I'll put my hand on whoever's in front of me.
Okay.
I try and move slowly, but I still try and like guess where we are relative to the other previous room that we were in.
Please make a intelligence saving throw real quick.
All right.
At some point, Ashe, you begin to feel like you're being watched.
Yeah.
And as you look around, you start to get your bearings. You realize that you're in another plane at this point. You're not still on the material plane. You're in some sort of prison plane. and that physics here don't matter as much as they do regularly, and that there are 2 giant spiders following you just outside of the reach of your vision in the darkness. Every so often they skitter just in a range before stepping back.
So for now, I keep that to myself, and I say, okay, I'm gonna follow the instructions that we're told.
You are led around a corner, past several open prison spaces. In some of the rooms, the prisoners are on the ceiling compared to where you're at. The cages are basically upside down. And finally, you're led to a room where Wynn is not uncomfortably strapped to a table, but definitely strapped to a table by dozens of buckles, surrounded by fuming pots and test tubes, beakers. It's some sort of wizard's laboratory. When you come in, there are 2 men standing there who both nod to Gizmo as he enters, and one of them steps forward and says, "Lord Gizmo, I was hoping to speak with you privately later." And the first one, like, the shh, silence. The magistrate is here.
What, just visually, I mean, what are these guys? What race?
One of them is a deep gnome, and the other is what are they called? The Underdark dwarves.
Duragar.
Duragar, yes.
Yeah.
They're both short, stout. They got a little bit of a belly to them, a little bit of pudge. They're trying to use beards to cover it a little bit. Cheeks are a little red and squishy, but they both appear to be aged and wealthy and arcane.
Do they have the slave bands on, or the?
They
free
do
people
have.
bands?
Well, everyone has these bands. Even the magistrate has them. It identifies their level of citizenship.
But we know that I think we know the slaves wear black, right?
Everyone but guests wears black.
Everyone
It's
but
the
guests.
pattern on it and the color of the pattern. For
Okay.
instance, the magistrate's is a extremely complex black web on a black band.
All right. So what are their bands compared to Key's bands?
Key's band is white and has a kind of rainbow color. It is rather complex. Your bands are also white. These gentlemen have black bands. There are colors that only extend into someone who has dark vision. So otherwise it would appear black to someone else who didn't have dark vision. There are several colors involved here. One of them would be magenta, which isn't a real color.
Okay, that's a different conversation.
Well, okay. Color. Okay, imagine a color wheel, right?
Yeah.
All right. That's not how colors work. Colors go in a band from red to violet. Magenta is a fake color meant to make the color wheel work. It is where red and violet meet, but that's not how light spectrum works. Light spectrum is a line, not a wheel. Magenta is a color that your brain fills in.
Yeah, but you're right about that. But then we could call out bands of color as many and create as many as we want to create any kind of color sequence.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I mean, it's magenta was done so that it could make a additive color work.
Right.
A little bit
imagine that imagine being able to see magenta and what magenta really is. That's what you're looking at here. You're looking at violet beyond violet and red beyond red on either side of this band. Not that. Well, I mean, dark vision could be considered sight beyond sight in a way.
So, have we been here long enough to be able to identify slave versus non-slave bands?
Why don't you make a roll for that? I would think
roll?
it would be an insight check.
Okay.
Whilst you are making this roll, where do you think of the arm bands as being? Like, I have it right now, kind of
They either
upper?
go in the upper left or upper right arm.
Okay. All right.
Insight. I hit it once already. There we go.
Yep, there you go. You got a 27. Listen,
Woo.
you are an arcanist of not inconsiderate power and a learned scholar. You have already cracked the Da Vinci Code here. Just based on maybe less than 100 samples, you've already figured out more or less how things work, and you can fill in the blanks where you don't have the knowledge. These gentlemen are ranking at an upper level of society, somewhere below a house leader, but above like a son of a house leader. Essentially, they're powerful advisors.
Okay.
So they are not owned by anyone, but they do owe their allegiance to someone. In this case, you would believe it would be Kuptale Black Web.
All right. So I bow to them. I go, when we have more opportunity to talk, I look forward to our conversation.
Kuptale gestures to Win and says, "You may speak with her. She will be scattered, and she will not remember this conversation as we pull her out of the enchantments we have placed on her."
So Ash steps forward and tries to greet Win and try and get a recognizable.
Yeah, Win blinks her eyes awake, and what does she say, Connor? Tell me both sides of this conversation.
It's finally here.
Yep.
Well, okay, so now I need to know what happened to
Everyone's
Win, right?
gonna get a turn this episode.
Here's the thing: Win is on drugs and believes everything that's happening is a dream right now because she's been tortured for like 10 days straight.
Has it been torture, or just this mental torture?
I mean, it's
between
torture.
Key reading her mind and these wizards in here trying to pull out all the information of the overworld as quickly as possible. It's not strictly what I would call torture, but it is essentially pulling out her entire life story in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I mean, so it's
she
not
believes
quite
everything
full...
that's happening is a dream right now, and of course she's seeing her most handsome prince having arrived to save her.
Right. So she's got that like well, she doesn't know what's real and what isn't, and she thinks she's dreaming again, because of course I think she's been reliving all her memories of her life throughout these last 10 days as they've been pulled out of her. And so, but she recognizes this is new. She hasn't been here before, and this is a new experience. So yeah, for her it's like a dream, and so she's desperately clinging, I suppose, to the fact that this is something novel, and then she doesn't know what's going on. So yeah, she's sort of is she chained up? Is she?
She is held to the bed by dozens of buckles.
So
when I say bed is a strong word, more like a comfortable plank.
Right. So she tries to get up and she tries to motion forward, and
there's no moving.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't hurt, but there's no escaping this.
Right. And she calls out Ash. Ash. She's looking for, and she also sees. She sees Lyra. She doesn't recognize the other two, of course. So, wait, did she? Yeah, she knows Lyra. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm going to go so far with that interaction.
Let me throw this at you. Has she ever caught one of MeaThead's matches? Maybe got her scrying mirrors crossed one time?
Yeah.
You know how it is with wizards?
Yeah, I'd say that. When she was studying in who's the big wizard again?
The Wizard Lord Mardrovian from the other campaign.
When she was in Mardrovian's court, he's got a whole series of scrying planks or whatever it is, up on his wall, so he could have all the people. He's watching all the different events transpire across the empire, and on those things, he has seen MeaThead's stream before. So that sort of pricks up her mind, because she's like, this is the first time, of course, she's seeing MeaThead in real life.
Do I recognize that she recognizes me?
You catch a glance. You catch a glance from her.
What streamer wouldn't recognize being recognized by a fan?
Right? I'd be like, hey, I know that look. Which one did you see? Which dungeon? You were a regular viewer? You just pop in every once in a while. What's going on? You got something you want me to sign? I don't know. Do you have a cast or something? Like, how much of this are you going to take with you? I don't want to leave you without a memento.
So she's overwhelmed by all the questions, and she's just completely. I mean, like as like it was a fate side of recognition, but she's still like MeaThead is very, very low priority as far as she goes emotionally. Ashe just steps forward and I guess sort of hugs her and tries to make sure she's okay. He says, we're getting you out of here, and as soon as we can. Just hold on.
Oh. So that old bear guy was right, wasn't he? This is your girl. Listen, man, I don't usually get involved in the personal stuff. I like to keep it clean. I like to keep it violent. I'm glad I was here for this. Listen, hey,
clean
meatheads.
and violent aren't the same thing.
I mean, you clearly have never worked in scrying vision, I guess. Hey, meatheads, I'm glad you're here for this. Take a gander over here.
Listen, let me tell you something. There's no scrying into this dungeon. Let me be super clear.
Would I be aware of that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be like, oh, man, if only I could send this back home. People would eat this up. Listen, when we get back topside, and clearly she's not strapped down or a prisoner or being tortured anymore, do you think you guys can recreate this moment? I mean, we don't need to be long. We can cut away if it starts to get, too staged. But I would like to, get this on mirror for those folks out at home.
Ashe is not listening whatsoever to MeaThead. It's all just noise in the background. I mean, he's overwhelmed with sympathy for her because, of course, I mean, it really does look like she's going through something extremely traumatic, and of course, he blames himself for this. So yeah, that's where he's at emotionally.
So Gizmo just wants to take a look around. Is there anything else to see? Like, I want to really look at that table. Is it just normal straps? Mentally, he kind of wants to have a plan on if he ever had to help her get off this table, would be the quickest route. He's looking at possible exits.
Make an intelligence saving throw.
While he's making that intelligence saving throw, I'll also say that Ashe tries to tell her, sort of tries to help her relive a memory by, or not relive a memory, but like tells her a story of like a time that he knows it was special between them to her, so that just to try and comfort her.
Tell me more. What is it?
I don't know what it is. I'm not going to be able to come up with something good enough at the top of my head. So
the day she joined your court and the two of you walked around in your father's garden and you introduced her to all of the places there, and she knew she'd get to spend the rest of your life following you around, watching you fuck up at things.
Sure. It's just like the scene in Star Wars Episode 2 when he's at the princess's sort of home planet, and they go out into the field, and he's on those like.
That is the worst scene.
I know, it's the worst
so
scene.
bad.
I know, it's so bad. But he that happens with the whatever the monster was that he tries to ride. That happens, and
oh, Connor.
I forgot all about that scene. Thank you for bringing it back.
It was the worst scene. That was the worst.
Listen, say what you will about the prequel trilogy, but they weren't as bad as 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah,
I like 7. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
This scene means nothing to me.
That's because you haven't seen it yet.
So okay,
you have Disney Plus.
Imagine a pastoral field, just like grasses, beautiful landscape, and just they have a moment. I don't know. They sort of I couldn't describe it for them.
It would probably be like she reads way more into it than he does, of course.
Right. For him, it was about getting away from court and having a nice like day outside and meeting someone new who's been around the Empire and like seeing more of the world than he has. And then for her, it's more emotional, I suppose.
Kuptale says, "Let us go. We are removing the enchantments, and when you return with the head of Bartholomew Blackhand, I assure you she will be ready. We have not spoken of her status. Will she be your slave, or will you give her her freedom?"
She'll have her freedom.
Ah, I see. an interesting choice.
Is there any way? What could I offer you in the meantime for you to release her now?
I was willing to release her now. You are the one that offered to do a favor for me, if you will recall.
He actually did say that.
It's true.
And then you offered a favor.
I didn't hear that, I guess.
Let us turn when we return out of the prison. We can go to MeaThead's streaming service. Clip it on Witch Prime.
Well, what might I offer you now to have her released soon or now?
It will take an hour or more. We can wait back at the court. Perhaps you would like to sit and have brunch with me.
Sure. My pleasure, Magistrate.
Yes. My blood sugar is low. I would like to make sure that I get some food in me. Yeah, so he begins leading you out and says, remember to keep pace. You do not want to get lost in this place, unless you wish to stay here forever.
Okay, Gizmo's going to be paying special attention on the way out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to cut back to that. Gizmo, you can figure how to get her out of the room, but with your intelligence saving throw being so low, you're starting to fall into this place, and you find yourself falling behind the rest of the party. Your heart rate starts going up. You're like, what's that? What's over here? You are being entrapped by the prison by doing the exact thing that they said not to do, which is try to determine a way out.
So I'm gonna. Do I notice him falling behind?
What's your passive perception? That's 10 plus your perception score.
Probably not.
Probably not. 10. Wait, it's on D&D.
It is on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I've got 12.
You notice it for sure.
Oh, okay. I do notice.
Sorry, MeaThead.
I have 11.
My perception is 12, but I can't see in the dark.
Then you are also having some problems since it's completely dark in here.
So I try and go back for Gizmo.
Yeah.
Try and make sure that.
Well, you don't notice it. MeaThead is the only one who notices Gizmo falling behind.
Hey.
Okay.
Hold up. Ashe? Ashe, is that how you say that? I'm sorry. What do they call you again? We're losing people. Hey, you, Gizmo, I think that's what they called you. Slow down, man, and I'll go over and try and take Gizmo by the arm and lead him back.
You're gonna lead him out?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're like, hey, Ashe, why don't you get the other one? She looks like she needs some help too.
So can I cast a cantrip?
You can try.
Light? I'm gonna try and cast light
on. It works.
Something I guess my shirt, so that she can sort of see where I am.
Ashe now glows with a radiant splendor.
Ooh. Well, that is a good look for you, man. That's a good look. Do you fight like that?
Sometimes.
Oh, that's clever. That's good. It's good. You always got to be watching your image. Listen, 90% of what we do, it's image.
I don't think that's right at all.
I feel like Mick just went to a Twitch streamer how to begin beginner's guide.
And it's so accurate. And it's so effective. I mean, I'm sure. What are your followers, MeaThead?
I mean, I'm moderate. Listen, I'm still only in my hometown. We're in negotiations for a village just a little bit away. There's this zombie invasion over across the sea. I forget the name of the kingdom. They had this thing, used to be fine, zombies everywhere now. So I'm hoping I go over there, I pull some big numbers, I can open up a couple more shops, a couple more theaters, nearby towns. Then that's when I'll hit the big time, all right? I've got local endorsements. What I need are international endorsements. That's where the money's at.
I mean, an endorsement from the Empire could be very valuable to one such as yourself, indeed.
I mean, maybe the Empire, all right? But listen, governments don't have the power. It's the merchants, right? I go over there and I plug your cabbage. People come for your cabbage. You give me cabbage money. because me plugging your cabbage has sold you more cabbage. This armor I'm wearing, it's okay. You know, I've worn more comfortable, but the money I get for wearing this armor, it's the best. Hasn't been beat.
So Ashe completely zones out once, you know, the conversation starts turning towards, you know, things of the material, things like making money. He doesn't, like, money's never been a problem for him, so he doesn't really think about that.
Oh, wow. What's an old trust fund Ashe over here?
Yep, that's right. Did we make it out of the thing?
You all have a nice brunch of assorted cheeses and cold cut meats, although the cold cuts appear to be less turkey and more mole and rat based.
I'm surprised. Being down here with the drow, I figured it'd be people based, but you know what? I won't complain.
That is offensive. My people do not eat people.
Well, what do your people consider people? Definitions can be fluid.
Anything with sentience.
No, that pretty much covers it. Wow, I am impressed.
Thank you. I am an impressive person.
I would agree with that. You interested in a guest spot? I'm always looking for guest stars. Listen, people love guest stars.
I apologize. I feel like rather than be a guest, I prefer to be the center of attention.
Oh, I understand. Now listen, you guessed once, we can start talking spin-off. Then you are the center of attention. You get your own thing, start going your own places. No commitment right now.
Tell me more about how you set up this system that you have.
Well, listen, it was this idea I had while I was going to this less than reputable Bard college. I was, halfway through, I thought, this isn't for me. I don't want to do this shit the rest of my life. So I dropped out. Best decision I ever made. Now, my friend Bill, it's not his real name, but it's pretty complicated. You know how those gnomes are. Bill says to me, he says, you know what, MeaThead, you look like you could beat some people's heads in. And you know what people love more than beating people's heads in? Watching other people beat people's heads in. And the rest is history.
This wouldn't happen to be Mid-Province Community Bard College.
Have you heard of that place?
Even here, an ocean away, at the edge of the Underdark, such a location is extremely famous.
Really? How is that? We've put out literally no reputable graduates. It's insane.
What is fascinating is that a huge number of people that drop out end up becoming far more famous than any graduate has ever been.
Huh, that is interesting.
Have you heard of the Church of Meh?
It is all the rage over there. I don't understand the appeal myself.
Yes, we attempt to kill all Church of Meh followers that we find.
Yeah,
they are dangerous cultists and heretics.
Yeah, just the worst kind of people.
Perhaps I shall look into creating a sending network like you have. Scrying mirrors. Be interesting to expand my influence to other locations.
Right? I mean, listen, man, it hasn't happened yet, but I am thinking a few decades from now, we get a league going, right? You have teams all over the place competing to get through dungeons together. It could be amazing. The sky is the limit. And if you want to get it on the ground floor, we need to talk.
I feel like at this point, MeaThead looks directly at the camera when he says the sky is the limit. This is the promotional material for the pre-release of the Phlogiston campaign. Phlogiston. At some point during this conversation, a groggy Wynn wearing a silk wrap dress, we're talking very Jasmine from Aladdin look, is ushered in by Key. Connor, if you want to take over any side of this conversation.
Right.
We've only spent 6 episodes to get to this point.
No pressure. I don't know. I mean, I'm not good at this.
You've been doing fine so far. Don't worry about it.
Wynn comes stumbling out into the court. I mean, she's barely got her legs underneath her, but her eyes are. It's of course pitch black in here for her, so she can't really see across the court. But I'm guessing you have some lights set up by the eating table.
You've lit yourself.
Oh right, that's right. Is that the cantrip still going? Okay.
It goes as long as you want it to.
Yeah. So I guess what she does see though is, I guess, a blazing bright Ashe from across the room.
An angel.
Right. And so I guess she starts making her way she starts running over to Ashe. And Ashe stands up and they embrace, I guess. And I'm guessing she would. I mean, Wynn's going to start crying because it's been very difficult for her. She's had a terrible time.
Wait, are we back up where I can scry now?
Yes.
I'm like, hey, meatheads.
Hey, listen, I want to tell you something, man. I gave you very clear instructions that you can only use your scrying mirror once for 10 minutes a day. Remember?
Yeah, I do now.
So is this the one that you want to do?
No.
Why are there so many copies of Lyra on this board right now? Does anyone else see this? There's like 6 Lyras.
What, on the
on Roll20?
I just turned to my Roll20. That's weird.
Oh my god, I can't get rid of them. They're everywhere.
And how do you get rid of them?
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
I don't know what they're doing here.
I just see one.
You just deleted them all.
Deleted all of the other ones. I don't know how this happened. This is madness. Yeah. Key says, well, where does that leave us? What will you? I can take Wynn back to my court so that she might rest for a bit, and I have clothes that will fit her, I assure you.
I thank you, Key. It says Ashe, and but Wynn is unwilling to sort of like let Ashe out of her sight so quickly. But meanwhile, Ashe is wondering, Kuptale, Magistrate Kuptale, thank you so much for this. What do I owe you? What?
Nothing. Why would I charge a guest and a friend from afar who is so competent, who has already agreed to do a favor for me?
I'm in your debt, Kuptale, Magistrate Kuptale. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You admit debt. Well, we did make a promise, so I think we should fulfill our promise.
I think that after you fulfill this promise, that you might find our humble city, Black Web Hold, and the Underdark environs beneath it to be rich adventuring locations. I understand MeaThead is quite a man of action, and that the rest of you seek coin, strange arcane inventions, artifacts, magical items. You will find such things on the surface world, I will not lie, but they are difficult to find. Down here, adventure is in every location.
So Ashe tries to explain the circumstances of her release to Wynn, and sort of say to her that it's safe for her to go with Kay, and her other companions, like I think Wynn knew Buttercup. And Buttercup's back at the tavern.
I think Lyra gives Wynn an awkward wave.
So this is what happens with Wynn. Key begins leading her away and says, I apologize. We've met several times, but you probably don't remember me. I look quite different. I've been spending some time with your Prince Heiral, and I've discovered some interesting facts about him that I'd like to share with you. And takes her to walk arm in arm away back to her court.
The triangle begins.
And Ashe is not worried at all.
When you look unworried, Kuptale twists towards you and says, "You do not seem nearly worried enough. I have been getting several intelligence reports about that woman's infatuation with you. And it would appear from the latest report from Key that you have no feelings toward her at all in that romantic regard."
I've sworn an oath for otherwise. I don't have any time for such endeavors to be
I
allowed for
must
me.
tell you, my friend, one must always make time to have a taste of the pleasures of life. No one else is going to make the time for you. You must do it yourself. Did you give him a fang?
That's right. Drow have fangs in this world. Drow have fangs in this world, man. I mean, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right?
Okay, whatever.
It's funny that you only saw it once I put like the darks down. It's been there for a long time.
I'm sorry, Connor. I don't have as much time to pay attention to the drawings as I might like.
It's quite
I get that thing at the end where you send me all the drawings in high quality in that format. You know, that's where you get to really zoom in and be like, oh yeah, he says, Ashe, I understand that you are of a different species of that young woman, and your relationship appears to be quite complicated given the courtly dance that the two of you will surely share for the rest of your lives. But among the drow, we have a saying, and he says, like an incomprehensible series of words, and he says, I can see that this translation magic has not properly covered. It is good to have a close working relationship with your subordinates.
I appreciate that might be the way of this court, and I'm sure there's much wisdom in how you do things. But we have a different way where I come from.
It doesn't sound like it, no. I have heard much from Wynn about the complex intrigues and scandals of your court. Your father and mother, your brothers and sisters are not all from the same parents.
Well,
you are the son
that's a mistake
of
I don't
an
wish
angel.
to repeat.
A mistake?
Well, I mean, what I mean is...
It would seem to me that your father enjoys life and your mother protects life. Perhaps you should spend more time listening to the wisdom of your elders. By the way, I'm older than your father. And you. And probably everyone here. On some account me as being quite wise.
As I say, I mean, sure, there is wisdom in your words, but my oath prevents me from such things.
Oaths. You draw your power from such unusual places. What is the nature of this oath, where you must deny your own happiness?
It's an oath of selflessness and to create a drive to...
He dies inside when you say that.
Yeah.
I cannot even imagine such a thing. What do we have in this life besides ourselves?
You look to your people. You look after your own people, and for them to have all the things that you think that they need in their life. I mean, your people do well for themselves. And that is a good thing. And that is the thing to which I swear. Or of the type of thing that I swear to.
Nick, is this a self-portrait of MeaThead signed by MeaThead to win that has been misspelled?
I've been watching this go down, and I'm really excited about this little card.
God.
Can you zoom in?
He's not going to leave a fan hanging.
That's awesome.
Oh, boy. I like how you didn't even check if she was actually a fan.
I mean, listen, who wouldn't be? Oh shit, I still haven't saved this. Good God.
You always got the autosave feature, right?
Yeah, and it's been doing it. And every time the autosave triggers, I'm like, oh, why are you taking so long? And then I think, oh shit, I actually need to save it. And I still haven't.
Before we depart, I mean, Gizmo is just going to ask, are we going to get any intelligence and guidance on where we can find this black hand that you need us to
he gives you instructions on how to reach Bako, the stronghold of Bartholomew Blackhand. It will require you to delve into the Underdark, however, and it's several hours away.
So Ashe sort of asks, "What's the layout? Sort of what can we expect to see on the journey there? Is it a fortress we're entering?"
I apologize. I don't have any information in that regard.
What are we expecting to find on the Underdark on the way there?
Well, you never know what you can find in the Underdark. You may be lost in its twisting passages forever if you are too foolish. Fighters, followers of Lolth, the Underlords, slavers, traders, merchants, ropers, beholders, cloakers. It is a dangerous but profitable journey. This Bako is just off of one of our primary trade routes, so the route should be safe up until you reach that location. We send patrols out, and of course the merchants never go unarmed. So the paths are kept clear by fear, which is a policy that I find works extremely well.
You say the captain is a lich. What does he raise?
He is no lich now.
Oh, sorry.
Or perhaps he is. No. The first one to found Bako was a lich.
Oh.
But it has passed to almost a dozen owners over the last 300 years.
Well, I thank you, Cottontailed. I suppose we should take our leave and begin our journey.
How do your day and night cycles work here?
We do not account for such day and night cycle foolishness, but we do have a 24-hour clock calendar. We have learned to precisely heat stone columns. Those with dark vision can see as the heat slowly fades away from it, and thus the brightness of the column in dark vision tells you what time of day it is.
So I look over at the clock?
Yeah, I mean, there's several columns around here that appear to be glowing quite strongly. They must have been re-upped because it's noon, and that's when they heat them up.
And what time is it?
Noon.
Noon, okay. So I relay that to Lyra.
How dark is it down there?
It is called the Underdark for a reason.
I assumed, but is it completely dark?
Yes.
Okay.
I would venture to say it's darker than it is in here.
No, it's pretty simple. We are right at the edge of the Underdark here. But yes, it is as dark in any location without light as it is in any other location.
Exactly.
I just didn't know if you guys had like glowing rocks or some people put lights on.
We have a lantern if you wish to borrow something like that for those who are not capable of sight. I understand that being human or surfacer can be extremely unrewarding. No sense of smell. Stumbling about in darkness. Bad hearing. Short-lived. Sour temperament.
I never said I had a sour temperament.
I didn't
Those
say
other
you
things
did.
might be true.
I see. Very well.
So Gizmo turns to Lyra. I should be able to cobble something together that can assist you in the Underdark.
Thank you.
I will need a little bit of time, but I assume we're going to gear up sufficiently and prepare before we head down.
Yes, we might even head out tomorrow. I don't know. It depends on how fit everyone feels for the journey.
Yeah, we can head out after the break.
Do you guys want to stay another night or do you want to head tonight?
I'm ready to go. I'm always ready for getting.
I mean, listen,
on.
I got a theater full of people just waiting for something to happen. I say we go now.
It's only a few hours away, but well,
I need a little bit of time to prepare a device to help Lyra. So I would say, is Key around?
No, she left with Wynn to head back.
Is Kupta around?
Yep.
Kuptali?
He's
Okay.
at the table with you. You're having brunch.
Lord Kuptali, do you have really, it'd be nice to have a map of the town so that I can find any vendors. I'm looking for someone who might have some spectacles or goggles.
I apologize. Such things exist, but I am uncomfortable with providing an outsider with the exact defensive specifications of our town.
Oh, I don't want your defensive. I want more of the merchant village.
Yes, I suggest that you return to my servant Key, who will guide you wherever you need to. While you are here, consider her at your service.
Excellent, thank you.
I am loath to part with her for her unique qualities, but I do not speak your languages, and she is an excellent translator and guide.
What languages do you speak?
Elven, Common.
All right, so Ashe, I think we're done here, right?
Yes. Thank you, Magistrate. We'll be on our way.
So he stands up and brushes himself off, and then begins calling for someone to remove the spell off of him.
All right, so we turn.
You all are
out.
traveling back to Key.
Yeah, we're going to
spending like an hour
closet.
gathering resources so that you can create a magical lantern of some kind.
It's goggles of, let me see. So I can infuse an item.
Yeah.
So I'm going to empty out my bag of holding, and I need to track down some goggles so that I can infuse them.
Such goggles are available for a 5 gold piece cost.
Okay.
So there are several different types of goggles available. The most popular kind involves 2 regular eye holes and then 6 additional ones as part of a face mask goggle combination to make you look like you have spider eyes.
So Lyra, we'll just assume Lyra was shopping with me. What do you think of these?
Is there any
Wanna wear
lights
these?
in here?
Yes.
Okay.
In the main canyonway, there is dim lighting at all locations. And if it seems like you can't see anything, the shopkeeper will come over and like hand you a rock with light on it.
I really don't care what they look like. I want to be able to see them.
Okay. I mean, if you're okay with these, it's a pretty
Don't make
scary
it
looking.
look stupid.
Do you like these with the 8 eyes, or would you prefer something that just has 2 lenses?
I don't care.
All right.
The shopkeeper says, "Oh no, none." He brings out a set of bifocals, and gestures to Lyra. These?
Bifocals like glasses?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like
nice.
black rim glasses.
Those are nice. Glasses.
Look at
What
Bearded.
kind of frames
Bearded
are
just
they?
joined us in the chat, everybody.
Hey, Bearded.
Oh, baby. Hey, Bearded.
Oh, baby.
Hey, Bearded.
We're talking black rim, simple, but functional.
Are we?
Are they round or are they?
You know, that
aviators?
U shape.
Like a half moon?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're
What do you think, Gizmo?
Wow. You just gonna go there, Connor, and draw Lyra with glasses, doing that, using 4 fingers to push the glasses up. Maybe give her a librarian outfit real quick.
yeah. I mean, I'm working on it here. Now you headed me off at the pass.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Let's when in Rome, do what the Romans do. So let's do the 8, the one with the 2 lenses and the 6 additional.
Okay, we're
So
gonna
we've got the
spider
8 eyes.
Lyra instead.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna head on break, guys. We'll be out for 8 minutes, but then we'll be back for the second half. When we return, follow me on this one. When we return, Spider Lyra.